And then they were forcing you to buy light bulbs that cost a fortune. So I signed something a couple of days ago that gives you the right to continue to use the incandescent light. And I don't know about you, much less expensive. I don't know about you, but I don't know. I'm not a vain person. I know I have no vain people, especially these incredible ladies in the front. But I look better under an incandescent light than these crazy lights that are beaming down on. But you know, somebody told me that, as you know, they're much more expensive bulbs, and for what you save. But they said that if a bulb breaks, it's considered almost like a waste site. It's a very big, the bulbs, the new bulbs. They're very dangerous with all of the gases and all. And I said, well, what's the point? What are you saying? Well, we're saying if we continue that production, they can buy whatever they want to buy. But you're going to save a tremendous amount of money, and you're going to have a light that's better. And there is a big danger. In fact, they have labels. Don't break this bulb. What are you going to do? You're going to throw it away? I promise I won't break it. On the new one. So you're going to hopefully buy the new ones, but you can buy the old ones too, and you can save a lot of money, and you can even look better.
I hope you were paying attention, because there's a good chance that this is the first and last time you'll ever see an auditorium full of full-grown adults break out into elated applause over light bulbs.
That gives you the right to continue to use the incandescent light.
Now, I'm not going to claim that Trump supporters are a mindless cult of personality, because there does exist the possibility that they just really love incandescent bulbs. But of course, even more ridiculous than hundreds of people cheering that Trump has bestowed upon them the honor of being able to purchase a crappy product is him actually saying the sentence, "I'm not a vain person." And then in that same breath, as if that alone isn't enough to knock the earth off its axis, suggesting that the reason he's a fan of incandescent bulbs is because he looks better under them. More diluted than vain, but yeah, still vain. And if that was true, it's not, but that would essentially be the only benefit. Because in what's reached almost comic book villainy in terms of undoing anything that could even moderately be considered a good thing, this administration only days ago rolled back energy efficiency standards for household bulbs. And it makes absolutely no sense, because more efficient bulbs like LEDs use as much as 80% less energy, last 25 times longer, and produce 10 times as much light per watt. And Trump frames this as a money issue, claiming that new bulbs will cost you a tremendous amount of money. So let's break it down simply. LEDs at their most expensive can cost $8, although they're $5 at IKEA and $2.50 at Home Depot. But let's go worst case scenario and say they cost $8, but they'll last as much as 70,000 hours compared with 1,200 hours for an incandescent. That means you'll need to buy 58 incandescent bulbs to equal one LED. Factor in the cost of electricity with the less efficient incandescent bulbs over the lifetime of an LED, and you're looking at literally hundreds of dollars difference between all the incandescent bulbs it would take to equal one LED. And look, I know our education department is run by Betsy DeVos, but come on, we can still do basic math, right? And look, this is all his tired playbook in action. He'll stand up there pretending to understand the plight of regular people, commiserating about the few dollars price difference between an incandescent bulb and an LED bulb. But when it came time to actually take action to deliver some relief to these people, he opted instead to hand a $1.5 trillion tax cut to millionaires and billionaires. I mean, this is the epitome of condescension, pretending to ride in like a white knight, saving all us regular people a buck on a light bulb, while handing over more than $1 trillion to the top 1%, and yet still expecting us to grovel at his feet in our eternal gratefulness. And this isn't even political, it's just straight stupidity. Politicians from both sides of the aisle realized the obviousness of this move. In 2007, Republican President Bush signed a law that would limit halogen and incandescent bulbs. Then Democratic President Obama signed a law again raising efficiency standards on a wider range of bulbs. The move follows phase-outs in all of Europe, in Australia, China, India, even North Korea. But leave it to Trump to reject common sense and instead repeal the phase-out. And he justified this by masking his utter stupidity as populism, pretending to be a man of the people, while in reality guiding everyone in the wrong direction by costing them more money in the long run. It's almost like we shouldn't be taking financial advice from the guy who lost $1 billion in a decade. But while it's economically dumb, the whole scene is also just generally humiliating. I mean, We are at the point where Trump has his supporters cheering on the fact that they will pay more money over time for a worse product. The guy could start hawking lead paint, and within 6 months, the hospitals will be full of lead poisoning cases. Between Trump and his supporters, I honestly don't know which I'd be more embarrassed to be right now. So while we may never know how many Trump supporters it takes to change a light bulb, we can at least be sure that they were just duped into paying more for it.